switched. It'll have to transform into Ranchi. Now, I lament this. I lament it because for the Dinka of the Republic of South Sudan, for the Maasai of Kenya and Tanzania, and equally for the Fulani of the Sahel, animals are not just commodities to be bought and sold. The animal is a motif in the culture. It's for some of them, like the Dinka, a cow is given to a young man as he grows, and the cow actually becomes his alter ego. He sings songs to his cow, and if his animal perishes, he actually experiences a period of grief, actual mourning for a cow. We may not understand that because of the remove, at this remove. For us, a cow is something you milk with these metal tools. Yeah, you don't even milk the cow with what do you call it? Yes, but you don't milk them anymore by hand. They have these machines. They stand there like if they're not animals. They're not sentient beings.
Peace to everyone.
One creator.
I'm like really. Red up.
Who talk about Abraham? People talk about their ancestors. What's important to Africans? Hello. What's important to
Okay, but they take away our black spirituality by giving us a book.
Go for a stroll around the park.
Thank you, our God. You are worthy to be praised.
Praise the Lord.
Remember, say, love ye one another or you perish.
So did he say love one another except the gay people?
The guys are murderers. The guys, they're all murderers.
All murderers.
Any government who legalize homosexuality,
Is that what he said
you
to
will
you
be
then?
wiped out from the surface of the
So he
earth.
told you love one another
The
except gay
doctors
people.
who cause abortion, they're all murderers. They're all be wiped out from the surface of the earth. He said, I am the.
Is
What
that
is
what
your
Lumba
number?
said to you?
God is you and I. God is the doctor. God is
I said, I'm like, oh, wipe your heart. Come on.
Limited God to being a man.
I am the God of the living.
Jesus will choose when to use his divinity and when to use his humanity.
Adnan's a bastard. I see him walking around.
Yes, to address the situation. Because when Jesus came to the earth, he had to become a human and act as a human.
Okay, so Jesus was God on earth. He's clearly saying,
Yeah.
I don't know knowledge of the hour.
as a human.
Only the Father knows knowledge of the hour. So there's two different gods.
Peace to Miss Bankston.
And after that, there's a whole teaching all the previous parts. Bob Asher, I just left in the shoe. How do you know the Talmud? You studied about the Talmud as well. Yeah? How did you get to it? You got English translation?
So I'm saying, live out your own life.
I'm banned from filming Adnan.
What's your husband?
Are you jealous?
What's your husband?
Are you jealous?
Look, he's leaving you.
There is really no marriage.
He's leaving you.
There is really no marriage. There is really no marriage.
You lie like Olu. You lie like Olu. It's money God. It's money God. Keep lying more.
Why did Allah bring the spirit into mankind? Surah 66, Surah 66, verse 12. Surah 66,
What is the marriage?
into the womb.
It's money God. Mother of God is she God. The mother is God. When I can show you stop.
Why
What is
did
the battle?
Allah
What is the battle?
bring his spirit into married
Can you
vagina.
control your wife, please? Can you control your wife?
Why
Your
did
wife-
you
They
were standing there, you
That's
came.
your girlfriend.
You came.
Hey, control your girl, man. Control your girl,
What
man.
is a girlfriend?
Control your girl. That's your
Eh?
girlfriend. That's your girlfriend.
Calm her down, Afi. Calm her down, Afi. Don't leave her like that.
Allah,
Is that your girlfriend?
Allah does not.
Is that your girlfriend?
Allah cannot have a son because Allah has no
Hey,
girlfriend.
preacher! Hey, preacher!
Allah cannot
Hey,
have a
preacher!
son
Hey,
because he
preacher!
has no girlfriend.
You are hey, preacher!
She didn't say
Did
what?
I say that?
No, because Allah has no
Did you say
girlfriend.
preacher? Did I say
She's
that?
Muhammad.
That is
Yes,
why.
she's
Did I say
She's
Muhammad
Muhammad.
preacher?
Then she's
Use the biggest hate preacher here.
You
Use the biggest hate preacher
You are the
here.
biggest hate preacher.
You hate it.
You don't even know what you're talking about, man. You're all liars, man. You're all liars,
Finish
man.
it.
All you people do is lie. You're all liars, man. That shit is so stupid.
No, you're lying. No, you're lying. No, you're
shit
lying.
like that about
Why are you
you?
shouting? Because you're lying, innit? Why are you all shouting together? Because you're lying. All of you getting bait from the same person, innit? All of you getting bait from the same person, innit? Innit? You're getting bait to preach hate about Islam, innit? Use the biggest hate preacher here. You preaching hate all the time about Islam.
Verse 51. Do not take Jews and Christians as friends. That's what the Quran says. Chapter 5, verses 51. Do not take Jews and Christians as friends. Isn't that hate? Is the Quran not preaching hate? That's hate. This sort of book should be banned in this country for preaching hate. That is hate. Hate. Do not take Jews and Christians as friends. That is what the Quran teaches. And they are reading this thing in this country and memorizing it and reciting this hate of other people and calling it a religion. What sort of God is that?
Because if they do what they did in Russia,
Yes, and so my definition of nothing would be that all things considered, like in the same way that if you look at an empty room and because I said we use the word nothing strange, and I think that we can often translate it to it's unimportant, or maybe even more precisely that which we do not acknowledge to be part of reality in a sense. It's like if you bring someone to an empty room, it's like what's in this room? Well, nothing. And I could say that no, there's empty space.
Let me explain to you why I think there might be a confusion, right? You said that something is nothing according to this tradition. By the way, we should kind of disentangle these traditions because Sikhism isn't a tradition. By the way, it's quite monotheistic.
What's
Sikhism? Sikhism
is that a branch of Hinduism or Islam?
No. It's a standalone religion.
Right, I don't know that.
Yeah. So
like I remember the name.
And they believe that the universe began with this, this ex nihilo creation from God and all that.
Yeah.
So that's an Indian tradition. And by the way, you can even interpret the Hindu traditions as believing in the same thing, Brahman and so on. It's like the universe or whatever it is. Now, or creating the universe from Timba or whatever the Vedas say. Now, what I'm saying is this, is that the postulation that something and nothing can arise mutually is problematic because if you mean something and nothing in an absolute sense, that would entail a contradiction.
I understand the logic. Right.
Because let me explain. Because nothing, by definition, is the absence of something. So they can't arise mutually. If one has arisen, the other one
that's
must
where I disagree.
depart.
I think we have to get more sophisticated about nothing. And so if I bring a regular person into an empty room and I'll say what's in this room, they'll say nothing. and I'll say, all right, but what do you mean by nothing? What does the nothing mean? Because clearly, for the same reason that when Dawkins wakes up, he hasn't, and he has actually dreamt. He hasn't experienced pure nothing. Like he has actually experienced it.
I appreciate that.
So in terms of the room, there's an empty room. We say it's nothing, but there is sort of space. And so in terms of the creation thing, I believe that whenever I say something and nothing arise mutually, I believe that something is actually, I believe that nothing is actually a thing. It's not necessarily material. It's just, it's a potential.
So nothing is a thing.
Yes, so basically, roughly speaking.
Let me fine. In that case, let's redefine what nothing is, right?
Yeah.
You're using these, I would say, equivocations, because when we open the door...
Equivocations?
Yeah, so...
My English is not good.
Right, so an fancy of equivocation is when you use a word in two different contexts.
To say that there was violence in Brookside.
Yeah, I read that one.
No, come on. What happens to gays on the Sharia? Listen. Well, no, what happens to gays on the Sharia?
It's a sin. It's a major sin. Yeah, in here. Yeah. Protection of Allah and His guardianship over His Prophet. Their present state should neither be interfered with, nor their rights meddled with, nor their idols deformed. No bishop should be removed from his office. The intention being that no change in whatever state everyone is should be made. That is the right that you would have if you live on the Muslim land, yeah? The Prophet said...
So what happens? What happens to gays under the Sharia law?
Okay. The Prophet said anybody that harms a dhimmi who lives under the protection of the Muslim is as if he has harmed me, yeah? Do you know what that means? Do you understand what that means? And there's another narration who said they will not even smell the fragrance of paradise, yeah?
No, like, I do get what you're saying,
okay, so
but I think in practice,
good or bad?
Islam is not that way.
Okay, in practice,
it's not that way.
Okay, no problem.
It's not that way.
Okay, hear me out. We're going to go to people who have lived...
It's not that way. No, it doesn't work that way. I know plenty. I actually know Muslims, which are just like, I actually know gay Muslims, which come over here to have sex, I guess, because they know that they did it over there, then we probably wouldn't go down so well.
Every country has a right to have their laws in place. No one can interfere with that. If the UK says every Friday you need to go and pick apples from the tree, then you go pick apples from the tree. If you don't like it, you get a plane and go back to your country, yeah? The issue is saying is, yeah, it's simple, go back to your country. Yeah, it's simple. Somebody say that to me, yeah? So what I'm saying is, no one can interfere. If some country does it, unless... Sorry? I don't know where I'm going to go back to.
There's plenty of places you love under Sharia law.
Chief Rabbi of Medina, his name is Isaac Zafarki, yeah? Okay, he lived under Islamic rule. Yeah?
No, come on, I want to know what happens to gays under Sharia. What happens to gays under Sharia? Come on, tell me, no, like, this stuff's boring. I just want to know what happens to gays under Sharia.
Why is it boring? Because
it's so long and tedious, I'm not going to be here all fucking day.
Exactly. The problem is...
No, it's exactly why. I can't talk to you all day. Come on, will you get bullet points?
You support Trump.
I want bullet points here, not freaking autobiography. I want bullet points here.
Okay, this is... Look,
come on, bullet points. What happens to gays on this Sharia?
We are in the land of the church.
Come on, I can't even understand.
We possess great fortune, much gold and silver in our hands. We are not...
Email it to me.
We are not oppressed with heavy taxes, and our commercial...
I'll read it, just email it to me.
Yeah? These are people who live under the Islamic State, yeah? And I'm not talking about ISIS, yeah? These evil people, yeah? These are people who lived under the Islamic country, yeah? Islamic State. And they were quite happy. And they were actually, they were writing letters to their people to come and live under that law. Yeah? Okay. My question to you is very simple, yeah? If it's democratically that you believe in, Muslims are elected and they want Sharia law, how would you stop that?
Well, I would hope that would never be allowed to happen.
If it does,
I know that's why. No, if that happens, then it happens because you're a minority.
What would you do? What would you do to stop it? I want to know what you would do.
For one, I would vote against it.
And it doesn't work.
Well, then that's why we are not the. That's why Muslims are not the majority yet.
If they were,
and that's why you would try to stop them becoming the majority, because once they are the majority, they will have the power and you won't, and they will be discriminatory against you.
But how do you stop them? My question is, because it's a very vital question.
Well, you don't allow them to become the majority. It's simple as that.
But if we're saying there's Muslims, we're doing dawah, people accepting Islam, a lot of people are coming to Islam. How would you stop it?
No. Islam is not growing here because people are converting. They're growing here because of immigration from Islamic countries. It's exactly true. There are a few conversions, but it's like pretty much balanced it out. Do not tell me the whole of the UK and all the people which are native here and all the Europeans are just converting to Islam. Or just converting to Islam. We're not into these. I mean, here in the UK, where in the UK are the masses of people converting to Islam? Most Muslims I see are coming or descendants of people from Islamic countries. It's not that they're converted people here. The only reason why Islam is growing here because of birth rates among Muslims and immigration of Muslims into the country.
So we have no
not because of you guys converting.
So there's no reason.
If Islam grows naturally by you guys, by people choosing, that's one thing.
Islam is the fastest growing religion in Europe, in the West.
Yes, because of immigration, not because of you guys converting people.
Go and read
If it grows by conversion, that's fine. But if it grows through immigration, that's a different picture.
Go do some research.
No, I can tell you, I can guarantee you that Europe is not turning Muslim because you guys are converting everyone to Islam.
Okay, no problem. Okay, you do your statistics, you do some research.
It's true.
Okay,
where are these masses of tens of millions of people converting to Islam?
Okay, you do your research.
European.
I can show you minimum 5 people just in this park of it.
Whoa, they would be. Or anyone who did convert to Islam would be in this park, wouldn't they?
Exactly.
This would be like the Muslim hub.
Exactly. No, you're missing the point. No, that's my
I mean,
point.
ordinary places.
That is my point. You see, if freedom of speech is allowed, all you need to allow us to do is do dawah. If you allow us to do dawah, people will come to Islam. And if they do, how would you stop them? Because the news
No, like I said, that's fine. I said that's fine. If English people convert, I wouldn't. If they want to convert to Islam, that's fine. But Islam's not growing that way. That's the problem. It's not. In your head it is. In your head it is. But Islam's not growing on a mass scale because people are converting to Islam. Islam's growing on a mass scale because of high birth rates and high immigration into the UK.
No problem. We'll let people decide that, yeah?
No, it's not people deciding.
Okay,
It's just it's not happening.
Okay.
Masses of English people are not converting to Islam.
No problem. If the New Zealand shooter, the reason I mentioned this is because the New Zealand shooter, he said that one of the things that I hate the most is weaving.
And they've got the crazy legs, so they're putting like female only sections down the same.
Have you been watching Basel World?
I haven't had time. I'm so annoyed because I want to.
But infinity itself cannot be...
Stop the ting.
I'm joking. Sorry? I'm joking. Come here, don't run away.
Go ahead, sir. Do you mind with
infinity by itself?
I do like to ask you.
You're a liar.
Like Barry.
You might have cut off the cameras. Yeah.
I'm not saying that there was no peace.
Sorry, bro.
I don't care. I don't care. I'll say what caused that infinity. Even if you believe in it. So
We never existed. Are you existed?
You have to add the word infinity with some kind of subject or object. So you have to say, does he have infinite?
This ties into the question I want to ask.
Infinite in and of itself must be contextualized to either time, bodies, movement, or something. Otherwise, we're talking about an abstraction, which actually, to most mathematicians, doesn't mean much, right? Yes, yes. So he had. I can steal, yes? Does God have the experience of being a thief? No, because God, number one, owns everything. So it's impossible for him to be a thief. So in other words, having the experience of something is not necessarily having the knowledge of it.
But by not having that limit that humans have, so God doesn't have the exact knowledge that humans have. God doesn't have the knowledge. God doesn't have the knowledge of being wrong. God doesn't have the knowledge of stealing. God doesn't have the knowledge of lying.
You can have the knowledge of something without having to do it.
You
can have the knowledge of something without having to do the thing.
You can't have the experience of doing something.
Is that really impossible? You're a clever man. You're a clever. What's your name again?
Call me Pavlov.
Pavlov, how are you, my friend? So I would say to you, you're a clever man, right? If I say to you, well, do you really need to have the knowledge do you really need to have the experience of touching a flame in order to know that it burns you?
I need to know the knowledge of the feeling, how it burns.
You don't need to
I will know it hurts, but I will not know exactly unless I get hurt.
Is it conceivable? Is it conceivable for someone to know that fire burns without having ever been burnt?
Is it possible for you to know how something tastes sweet? Is it possible? Without ever tasting anything that's sweet?
If you're talking about me personally, me with my limited parameters and so on, you can argue yes, in an ontological sense. You can argue that I have a dream of sucking a lollipop. That'll be an ontological answer when you're talking about it, right? Or you could argue no. Both of those arguments are valid. But when we're talking about the
I mean, logically you can't because you never experienced.
But that's a naturalistic understanding. What we just said, right? You can have knowledge of experience without having that material experience. For example, I might have, sorry to be very explicit here, a wet dream. Okay?
No problem.
I might have, and girls have wet dreams. Okay? Now, it's quite a similar experience. Maybe not fully in its entirety to the sexual experience, right? Now, let's say, for example, the person has never had actual sexual intercourse, but they've had a wet dream. But they can ontologically fathom what the sexual experience
They can have an orgasm.
Yeah, will entail.
Without having sex.
Right, so the same thing, there's a fallacy here in your reasoning, that you have to actually materially, cosmologically, go through an experience through the senses, the five senses, in order for there to be a knowledge of every, in and out of that particular transaction. That's not necessary. It doesn't follow like that. You can have a knowledge of how the experience will feel without having materially felt that thing through an ontological sensation.
How can you tell what red is while being blind?
You can if you have
something that cannot happen. You need to have that feeling,
if you have
that
a dream
sense.
of red. If you have a dream of redness.
If you are blind, you will not see any colors in your dreams.
If you have a dream,
because the dreams are an agglomeration of the world that we see now. They are a distortion of that world. You cannot see in dreams something that has zero link to the world.
I'm going to disprove you right now. Okay.
Go ahead.
Please
disprove.
And you are going to accept it. Okay. And you are going to accept it.
Go ahead.
Yes. Because you are a man of humility and integrity.
Of course, lots of humility.
Does mathematics exist in the real world?
concept of stealing, he created a new concept above our comprehension of everything. Because you questioned before, how come God knows stealing is if you've never stolen?
No, I covered that. I'll come to it in a second. So I don't lose my train of thought.
Could you repeat the question?
No. So here the point is, mathematics is entirely ontological, accept or not?
Ontological. What exactly ontological? What exactly do you mean by that in this specific sense?
In the mind. It's not
mathematics is in the mind. It's theory.
This ties to the question I want to ask.
It's theoretical knowledge, right?
Theoretical. Is mathematics?
My bad.
Is mathematics ontological or is it cosmological?
So cosmological, you mean by cosmological that it's something that you perceive? Yes.
Yeah. So
Five
ontological
senses,
in your mind.
Ontological in your mind.
Which is it?
Okay. Which is mathematics?
Yes.
Ontological or cosmological?
Yes.
All right. If I had to answer that, I would say it's.
No, but is it conceived of in the mind or is it put under a microscope?
I will come to facts a little bit later. That's a good point.
Or do we know
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, but facts can be either ontological or cosmological. I'm asking, is mathematics, is it something in the mind or is it something that you get through the five senses under a microscope? Can you put numbers under a microscope?
It's facts. You don't get it.
No. Don't go that way. Don't go that way.
I wouldn't agree with that.
Don't go that way.
I would come back to that. But that's
all
not
right.
correct.
Now you are telling me I'm using fallacies while you use the fallacy right now. Because we don't know mathematics when we are born. The mathematics we know in our head is the mathematics that has been taught to us with the numbers that we see.
Yeah, no problem.
With our perception.
You've been taught it, but even when you were being taught it, were you being taught it? Is mathematics found out through an investigation of science, or is it found out through mental abstraction?
Well, that's the thing. There is nothing. There is nothing in this world.
But where does it start?
All right.
Where does it start? Sorry, I apologize.
It's fine. It's fine.
I actually want to ask this man some genuine questions because I am genuinely.
Let's finish this thing.
Yeah, I know, but this is what I'm saying. Pav, you finish your.
Do you see what I mean?
I see what you mean, but
nothing in this world is truly ontological because everything we know goes through our senses.
Okay, no problem. I have a challenge for you then, Pavlov. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I have a challenge for Pavlov. I have a challenge. All right.
I think I know what the challenge will be.
No, I've got a good challenge for Pavlov. My challenge for Pavlov and for every other naturalist in the world is to prove mathematics through the scientific method. Is it conceivable?
Through the scientific method.
Is it possible that you can prove mathematics through the scientific method? Yes or no?
In theory, you can. But the application of theories to the real world is flawed. Wait, guys.
I think that if science itself, science destroys itself.
Yeah,
exactly.
So it's impossible for mathematics to be established through
quantum mechanics contradicts many theories, scientific theories that we have, like Einstein's relativity.
You're not getting the question.
No, I am getting the question.
Do you know what the scientific method is?
Sorry?
What is the scientific method?
Scientific method.
Yeah, go on.
It's something that you prove.
What is it? What are the steps? What do you do? How do you
explain the scientific method?
Okay, go ahead. You
so,
explain.
So you have, let's say for example, you have a hypothesis, right?
Yes.
Then you go into the laboratory in controlled settings. You run the experiment in controlled settings and so on, and then you put your conclusions in a journal.
Yeah.
Then there's peer review, falsification, after popper and so on.
No, you miss a very crucial point about the scientific method.
I might have, yeah.
It's falsifiability. You have to be able to falsify something. Yeah.
I just say
that. Not only that,
that is like the most important thing.
Yeah, I just say that.
Essentially, what you're trying to do is find something that you can prove false.
Yeah, all right. I said that, but you
didn't. No scientific experiment.
You
said absolutely
No.
As quantum mechanics proves to us many times.
No. Please be with you, brother. It's like we're not going to argue about something, right? But it's like because it's very important.
Right.
The difference between science and everything else is that you're actively looking for something
interference in the battle.
Find something wrong with it
all the time.
I'm not making anything wrong with science.
You're not looking for something that confirms what your belief is.
Yes.
You're trying to disprove what you're.
I agree. That's Karl Popper. That's falsification.
So I'll shut the fuck up because I'm an arsehole. Me and you, I want to ask you something later on.
Afterwards. Yeah. Let me just finish with Pavlov. You cannot put numbers under a microscope. They cannot be smelt, they cannot be touched, they cannot be felt. You cannot go through the five senses numbers are ontological.
No, they're ghosts.
And there's no difference
You
of
see
opinion.
a number because
give
you
me
saw
one
a
philosopher
number.
who said this.
I'm an idiot. Can you define ontological?
Ontological is that
Because I looked it
It's
up
something
on-
logical, something you can.
in this
No,
context,
because
The
I looked
conclusion
it
you
up
can
on
come
nature.
It's a mental thing.
it's a conclusion you can come to without actually having to see anything logically.
So why don't you just call it logically?
Yes, it is.
Why
It's
do you
like
call it
David Hume's
ontological?
relations of ideas.
My
That's
understanding of-
ontological.
No. Here in this context, when I say ontological, I mean that which is in the mind, all right? That which you can conceive mentally, rather than through the five senses. Like a dream, for example.
Yeah.
Yes?
The way I understood it,
Mathematics
The
is like a
dream
dream.
is based
They're in the
on
same
what you saw
category
in
of things.
reality.
the way I understood
You
the
need
ontological
reality to distort it
You're
somehow
unconscious.
to the dream.
Right.
Yes, but the unconscious is made of shards of the conscious. You don't have anything
Anyway.
if you never perceived anything.
Mathematics is not in the real world.
Listen,
That's
bro.
why Plato had
That's the fallacy you're making, and I see how many people could have fallen for this
By the
fallacy.
way, no one has argued against what I'm saying. That.
But this
No one
ties
has
into
argued against your saying. I'm arguing against what you're saying right now.
To be honest,
Do I have to have a name as a philosopher for you to take me seriously?
I'm just saying to you,
Does
here's the
me,
challenge, you have to
does
meet the
me
challenge.
rationally argue with you it's not enough?
Meet the
Is that
challenge.
not enough?
Meet the challenge. The challenge is prove mathematics through the scientific method. And you cannot do that. It's impossible because science presupposes principles which are logical in order to do science. Those are metaphysical. They don't rely on the five senses, and there's no way in which you can use the scientific method to prove the principles of science. Logical principles are metaphysical. They're a priori. They're not a posteriori. They are mental. They are
That's
abstract.
debatable. Once you don't have no, look. Once you don't have any senses, no sight, no smell, no feeling, no, wait. I'll let you talk. Let me talk. You cannot see one as one. There's nothing. Once you have zero senses, there's absolutely nothing.
So does if okay, I've got a question.
With zero senses, no senses
okay, fine,
whatsoever.
perfect. Take all the 7 billion people on the earth out of existence, and all the animals.
That's a hell of a thing to do.
Right. Take every living thing out of existence.
That's a
yes?
huge thing to do.
Does mathematics exist?
No.
No, it doesn't.
I'm not shaking your hand. This is not over yet. This is not over. Don't run away. Don't run away. Don't go Hashim.
No, can I add to this?
Don't interrupt now. Don't
Does
interrupt
meaning
now.
exist? Exactly.
I beg you. Let us speak. Let us speak because this is the important part. That laugh proves to me that you follow the same logic as Hashim does. Because he never once even tried. He never once. No. Don't interrupt. Don't interrupt Hashim too. Don't interrupt Hashim too. Tall Hashim. I'll call you Tall Hashim from now on. I told Hashim that I'm not certain about my existence because I'm not certain in what shape or form I truly exist beyond my perception. You perceive my existence in a different. Guys, don't interrupt for fuck's sake. Don't interrupt. We're finally getting somewhere. Now, Hashim refused to understand that because his agenda is to disprove what I'm saying and to ridicule it as much as possible. Because he refuses to understand that his perception is not the exact same perception that is absolute truth. I see color with my eyes because my eyes have 3 color receptors. I smell because my nose has a certain ability to perceive smell. I hear, I don't hear as well as a deer hears. I don't see as well as an eagle sees. My senses are not perfect.
You can hear in a dream. Sorry? You can see in a dream. And your eyes are closed.
I can see in my dreams. I can hear in my dreams. I can touch in my dreams.
Speak to a blind person. Here's your homework. The homework is speak to a blind person and ask them if they've ever had dreams before, where they visually see things. Right? If you think that blind people don't have dreams, that's
They
denying
probably do have dreams.
Ask them.
But they have
Ask
sound
them.
in the
Your
dreams.
eyes, when you
They
close
do
your
not
eyes
see
like
color
that,
in
it's still
dreams. They do not see
How do
shapes
you know
in
that?
dreams. No blind person will ever tell you that. How do you know they do?
I know that.
How do you know they do? How?
I've spoken to blind people.
To blind people, you've spoken to
Can
them.
I ask a question?
Fair enough.
I have a
Yes.
question for you.
Go ahead.
Sorry for interrupting. Now, if someone is focusing
wanna
too
continue?
much, no, I'm okay.
Oh, you're leaving. You're leaving. Don't leave just yet. Don't leave just yet.
I think we're done.
I don't think we're done.
Okay, one more chance. The challenge is
One more chance.
use
One more chance
math-
for you to
use
not.
the scientific method to prove science. Use the scientific method to prove mathematics. Can you prove mathematics through the scientific method? what would you do? How would you run the experiment? You're a scientist now. Let's find out. Pavlov's lab. We're going to go to Pavlov's lab.
You're not listening.
No.
You're not listening. As I usually say, the battle between debaters, especially in Speaker's Corner, is not for the agreement of the other. It's for the soul of the viewer.
Fine.
That's what you're fighting for. You're not fighting for me to start agreeing with you. You're fighting so the people will agree with you on the other side. It's not an ad hominem at all, because you're not listening to what I'm telling you. Now, maths, as you see it right now, is ultimately shaped by your senses. While you're blind, deaf, you can't touch, you can't smell, you can't do anything, you will not have any conception of maths.
How would you
will not have
run
any
the
conception at
experiment
all.
in the laboratory?
Your self-awareness is based on your senses. Without senses, there is nothing.
So all the human beings, take them off the earth, math 2 + 2 does not equal 4.
No problem.
What is the 2? You need to link it to something. Keep laughing. Keep laughing. Keep laughing. Keep laughing. Keep laughing.
I would like to have a chat with you. Away from the camera.
No, I can laugh too. It is funny because.
Can I ask you my final question that I had stored for you all this time? Right. I agree with you there with the mathematics stuff.
Yes.
Like essentially, what your argument is that the mind is a fundamental component of the way reality is structured, and in a sense, we have this miraculous capacity, whether you call it divine or whatever. What call you? There are things that are inherent that come from within that science can't deal with, and that we're doing. Like in a sense, what you and I are doing right now, in a sense, is playing mini God, right? We're actually. We're playing with the strings of reality in a sense. You're having an effect on me in the same way I'm having an effect on you. Now, we've had this earlier argument about whether something can come out of nothing and all that stuff. And I wanted to tie that back all the way to the Earth, right? Because that's all far away, heavenly, cosmological stuff, basically. I think, philosophically speaking, it boils down to the question whether, because I feel that in Abrahamic religions and in Western philosophy and all that stuff, let's say Abrahamic philosophy, there's always this dichotomy, right? There has to be subject and object. You have the split between emotions and feeling, thought and feeling, symbolically masculine, symbolically feminine, whatever, what have you. Do you feel that ultimately, all things considered, at the end of the day, the universe can be explained? Right. That's our fundamental disagreement.
I think your open-mindedness is commendable, because as someone who's an agnostic, you've accepted and acknowledged the fact.
I'm not an agnostic.
What would you? Someone who believes in. Sorry.
Right. So to give you my perspective is, Eastern philosophy is very skeptical of words. Very skeptical of words. They do not like, even though there have been plenty of wars of Buddhists crashing in the skulls of Hindus and vice versa. It's all over the place. There hasn't been a single holy war about doctrinal differences, because within Eastern philosophy it is believed that.
I don't know about that, man. That's a difficult one to say.
Right.
It's about 4,000 years of history.
Verbalized statements are never taken to be reality itself. And so I can give you a funny story, because often I'm not sure if you're aware of a lot of stuff that's going on in the culture right now. Something that's very rampant in all over the place on universities, basically. All over the traditionally West, let's say. Right? There's this idea which is pretty much rampant, which is very which has a lot of similarities between Eastern philosophy. It's called postmodernism. It's very skeptical of meta-narratives, like big cosmological stories, which I think is a big mistake. They're also very skeptical of words. What now has happened is that as soon as you can change the words, you change reality.
Yeah, grammology.
It's not grounded in logic.
Derrida wrote.
Exactly.
Grammology.
Right. Derrida, Lacan, Michel Foucault. I don't think they're the most sophisticated thinkers around. They have their place, but do some more reading. In my estimation, for everyone that's super enthusiastic about it. But what's funny is where I think our fundamental disagreement is in Eastern philosophy, they never take verbalized statements to be reality itself. And so in Abrahamic religion and Abrahamic theology and philosophy, there's more of an emphasis on the object, more of on the emphasis on the logical versus the illogical. And in a sense, I also feel that this is the reason why some people speak of a patriarchal system in a sense. Because also the rational and the thought is often like connected to the symbolically masculine. Now, a funny Eastern story to maybe shed light on where I'm coming from in a sense. Because you might have, and maybe that was the reason why you connected where I was coming from to Dawkins. Because most often when people speak about Eastern philosophy, according to like Abrahamic thinkers, they come off as nihilists. It's like, right, you keep speaking about like the illogical nature of the universe and all this nothingness that you're speaking of. You're nihilistic. You don't believe in anything. It's like, nah, I'm not. I don't believe in anything. Like, I'm not proposing an idea as the ultimate nature of reality, because I don't feel that at the end of the day you can verbalize the truth in a sense. I think you can come very close, which is very interesting because we can just like have a conversation endlessly. And I do think that words are important.
No, but this will.
That's why I'm right into,
you know that discussion with Socrates and the sophists.
Right.
You know,
right. So I think we misunderstand the sophists.
Pavlos, you know this one?
I do know this one.
What is it?
But listen, I wanted to speak about something else. Because you keep saying about this, I'll give you another chance.
I have 5 minutes of time.
You keep saying I'll give you another chance, I'll give you another chance. There is no chance.
Okay, no chance. Okay, fair enough.
There is no chance to begin with. You're not considering what I'm telling you. Because in theory, the conclusions of math are absolute. 1 plus 1 can always equal 2. But the application of those theories to the real life is where it goes wrong. Because all we have is real life. We don't have the world of theory. We can't perceive it properly. 1 is an imaginary number unless you see it as 1, as the symbol. It's imaginary. It doesn't actually exist.
So you agree with me?
In theory, I agree with you, but in practice, in the human world, it doesn't function like that. And you're denying that distinction between the theory and the practice.
Right. So let me tell you the story. Like, it's about this Zen master and his disciple, in a sense. It's like this, how do you call it?
I just want 5 minutes with you.
There's a pupil, right?
I would just like to.
And so they're discussing
I want
the
to
nature of
learn.
reality.
For fuck's sake, I want to
Japan,
learn.
within Zen Buddhism.
What do you want?
And they're like, the Zen
I'll ask you
master
questions. I
is
want to
expounding
learn.
on the nature of reality. And they're
I'll ask
endlessly
him.
discussing. Endlessly discussing.
I'll ask
And there's
him.
this
I'm not
big,
here to debate. I'm not here to fucking argue.
thing within Zen
I would
Buddhism
like to
that
learn
you can't
something.
articulate the truth.
Because
and so they're
if every day you learn something, then you're a better person.
we can
Am I
never
wrong?
ever verbalize. And
Am
so
I
they're,
wrong?
they're,
Am I
they're
wrong?
discussing
Don't
the
think
nature
so.
of all
Don't
the
think
things
you're
that
wrong.
are surrounding you.
I
Right?
think you're quite right, actually, but you need to accept the possibility of learning something, and some people don't do
I
that.
might accept that. I don't accept the possibility that it might be bullshit.
The possibility of you being wrong.
What is this?
But unless I ask, I can't learn.
Indeed.
No, it's not.
So I don't give a shit. I just would like. I come here to fucking learn. I come here as a fucking drunk asshole who's easily 10 times brighter than all you cunts, right? I'm brighter than all you fucking cunts, but I'm not.
Doing what?
But I would like to. This personally, I think he's the most charismatic. It's him. And I would like to ask some questions. Am I allowed to fucking do this?
I think talking is fun. So that's the reason why I engage in it.
The fun is a good way to.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So the next day, they do their.
You are, brother?
Lesson again. It's like,
Is life beautiful?
what is this?
Could it get better? Could it get better?
It's like he got.
Can we make it? Can we all make it better?
Because as soon as he says no, he doesn't do the thing that I'm holding right now.
I love that.
Identify justice.
I love that.
Right. Then the third day, the pupil walks by the master just before the lesson, and he walks away to say take a leak or whatever, and then the Zen master picks up the stone and throws it at his head, and he's like, "Whoa, what did you just do?" And the Zen master replies, "I just threw a stone at you." You understand? Exactly. You know how that's funny? Right.
Yeah.
What's your main point, though? What's your main point?
Yeah, exactly. And so
You know.
Oh, it's interesting. I'll
It's a funny story. Cheers.
Thank you, man. Tell me some books I can read on Eastern tradition that you found.
Please. Like what changed my life?
Go ahead.
Like Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance.
Okay.
Right. It's a book by an American writer. It's like an American philosophy classic, and everything that you've like he goes into like the metaphysics of Aristotle and Plato and all that stuff, and he ties that to the East. But he's an interesting thinker. Like, if Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. Robert Pirsig. Right. Do you have a recommendation for me? I'll check it out.
Hold on.
I will. Cheers.
Okay.
Read it with a grain of salt, though.
Huh?
With a big grain of salt.
I'm not here.
Cheers, Mohammed.
Thank you.
I'm not here to debate or anything like that.
Yes.
I'm here to learn. Okay? You're easily the most charismatic person here. No.
I thought you were my fan. This is the top 10 anime betrayals.
But a little bit of your heart knows that's true, yeah?
A little bit, yeah. Pablo.
No. I'm not questioning your religion or anything.
Pablo,
I have all
Just
I
ask
have.
if you want, man.
All I have is a couple of questions, right? And I want to learn.
Okay, fine.
Right? If it turns into debate, then I think we should both step back. Okay? I don't actually know what the Islamic version of creation is. I don't know like Big Bang, all this shit. Now, if you want to go down the ontological route, don't do that with me. I would just like to learn.
The Quranic understanding of it. Right?
Yeah.
So,
please.
according to the Quran,
God
created the world, right? He originated the heavens and the earth. Especially the Quran, بديع السماوات والأرض فاطر السماوات والأرض. He is the originator.
Okay, now can I pause for 1 second now?
Right.
When you said that, you went into another language.
Do you not want that at all?
No, I don't mind that.
Oh, okay.
I love that. I think that's beautiful.
Okay.
Okay.
No, just because it helps me.
No. I think that's a very beautiful thing. But when you explain it to me, you say it in English and then you just jump to something else.
What would you like me to do? Say it in Arabic first.
Or if you do it Arabic first and then explain what you're saying.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've come to you with an open heart to learn about your religion.
No, I'm with you. So the Quran says that God originated the heavens and the earth.
Yeah.
He began the heavens and the earth, and He created the earth, everything on the earth. He created human beings and progeny, and so therefore He's given human being the ability to see that, to recognize that, to realize that, and also He's asked human being to worship Him.
Okay, if you don't mind me, I'll interject whenever.
Right.
Like, is there a timeline? I'm not being an arsehole. I don't want fucking religious timelines or any bullshit like that.
Yes.
I'm here to learn.
No. There is no timeline.
So there's no timeline at all. It's just like.
No. There's no
So in the Islamic understanding of where you come from.
Yes. What, the universe or?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Right.
When did that come into being? I don't know.
We don't know when. That we leave to the scientists to try and figure out.
So I guess this is the other question.
Yeah.
Is I don't want to rob you of your time.
No. Of course.
But it's like when you say that is an open question.
Right.
How open is that? It's like, I mean, like obviously you are taller than me, so I assume that means intelligence, right? No, I'm joking with you.
I don't think so.
Right.
I thought I was like 7'5".
But
And Pablo would be 8 foot.
No, because I know people way taller than you, right?
I met a 7 foot guy recently.
Yeah. And you had to do it. You were like, what the fuck? What the fuck is this?
The picture?
Now you're just boasting. Look at my picture in the
I want to see a picture of you guys.
Look at those guns.
Get this fucking kid out of here, man. Was he younger than you?
No, he was older.
He was older and wiser.
I don't know how old he was.
He was older and wiser. But like I said, it's like I've seen you before, and all I want to do is learn. I literally do not know about the Islamic version of the creation.
Right. So God created the heavens and the earth, the world, the universe, everything inside the universe, the stars, the moon, the sun, the earth, you know, and he created the human being as well. So that's the Islamic narrative. When it all happens, it's not detailed in the Quran.
If I do a shift there, I'm not getting agitated.
Yeah.
Like, I just
mentioned. It's not like, you know, the Jewish tradition. Some Jews believe that the earth is 7,000 years or 6,000 years old. We don't have that.
So Islam has no dates on it, right? And so what about, of course, because science, like, we're not idiots. You're not an idiot. Science has goddamn motherfucking changed a lot, right? How does Islam accept this? Because I know, I'm not an idiot, we all know that Islamic religion was the forefront of science for 200 years, yeah? But we had, like, they're called Arabic numerals.
The best thing that Islam did was allowing the scientists to prosper in their studies without cutting them off like the Catholics did.
When we need you, okay.
Sorry?
I'm not here to argue.
No, I'm saying the best thing Islam did was allowing those scientists to do what they wanted to do.
What was
Islam?
What was their religion? Those scientists?
Like, there's obviously been huge amounts of change.
So what did
But
Islam
look,
do?
does Einstein discovering the atomic bomb, is that a Jewish achievement? Is that purely a Jewish achievement?
Whatever you believe.
He was a Jew.
But you cannot say
No, but he was a Jew.
No, you cannot make the argument of saying that the religion of Islam is against the science.
I never said that. I just said that Islam didn't provide those achievements. I just said the best thing Islam did was allowing the scientists to get those
Islam did
achievements.
was encouraging people to go and seek knowledge. And that's why there are lots of scientists who are Muslims.
No dogma encourages people to achieve knowledge. No dogma encourages people dogma. You don't know what dogma means. Okay, dogma is a dogmatic belief that
I agree
you
with
follow
that
with absolute
100%.
conviction.
I
It's an absolute
brother, I
belief.
agree with that 100%.
And go to the university
So this is
because
what I
I'm
want to
Muslim.
say.
So that's why I wake up early.
Obviously,
I am Muslim.
I'm saying that Islam of Muhammad
because of Islam.
is
He's
massively
encouraging me.
different from Islam now. Right?
They wouldn't have Quran recitings in schools if they encouraged actual knowledge of history, actual knowledge of science, actual knowledge, unlike the knowledge in the Quran, which is not actual history.
Yeah.
So
I can
Catholics
accept
don't do
that.
it.
And I
They
love
don't have
that.
Bible classes.
That is like almost something that our society's lost. We don't have the companions of, obviously, Britain set up on like some ideals, right? But we don't have those
in the beginning of the Quran. I read a quote that for that day it made me give up. On that day, it made me give up for that day. I kept reading it later on. It says something like that the Muslims in the battle were outnumbered 30 to 1 and they completely crushed the Byzantines.
But I feel that
Now the thing about the Quran
like
is, it doesn't directly speak about history.
I might
It
not
speaks
necessarily
about life itself in a very vague
No, because I tell you
way.
what, right?
So
I'm
you're
not
not
fucking
actually
idiot.
certain if it is history
I've lived-
or not.
I've lived
I
on
wouldn't
this
say
earth
Quran says
for my
anything
years.
about
You
history
think I've got,
actually. It just says things, like religious things. For example,
but
about
day to
Moses,
day-
about Jesus, about
Okay, give me an
blah, blah,
example. I said give me an example of a mistake.
we are-
But let me give you an example of what Quran
We
said
strive to be the
expected
best
before it
people we can
happened.
be.
No, just don't follow the Quran as a
So
historical
I wouldn't want to be in
Well,
a
Quran is not a
situation.
scientist source.
Well,
Quran
why are you
is a-
saying that it's history?
It is it's a holy book which you can take, and then from that you can.
My question is,
broaden
I
your
don't
horizons.
actually.
Now let me give you
Why
an
would you call
example.
it history? Why would you call
Like I
it
said,
historical?
I'm not
Yeah, you did.
I'm not.
You asked me why is Quran
I
not
pushed him
historical?
away.
No, I said
Yes,
what
debate.
happened. Let me tell you what
Here
I
to
said.
fucking debate.
I said you don't
I'm
have
here
to be
to
defensive
try
or
to
aggressive. We are having a
understand.
polite conversation.
The
here.
Just not like when you
the
deny what
Islamic-
you said
I
before,
did-
just
Let me
because
tell you-
you're proven wrong.
Let me tell you what I said. I said that Quran did not have any mistake while mentioning the historical fact. That's what I said.
Give me a historical fact that it got right.
I'm not here. I'm not here
Roman
to
Empire and Persian Empire. During that time,
I'm not here to
It's not
fucking push him.
yes, that's what they call it.
I
They will. Quran said that they will have a war, and during that time the Roman Empire was going down and the Assassin Empire was going up. So no one
They
ever
were kind of both exhausted by war between each
You
other.
have to do a lot of translation.
So both of them were in a fight. Everybody, every normal human being would say that the Assassins will win. But Quran says the opposite. Roman will lose at this fight because Roman was like USA and
I'm happy for you to do what makes you feel most comfortable, and I don't mean that in a condescending, bullshit, fucking Westernist point of view. I just would like to learn about the Islamic view of creation. I don't know what it is, because I could be a dumb cunt, right? I could be just a dumb cunt and assume it's just Christianity, right? Or I could be a dumb cunt and I could read it in a book. Or I could hear it from someone. Or I could hear it from someone that actually believes it. And when I say believe it, I don't mean that in a disparaging way. Do you see what I mean? I waited patiently in line because I would like to hear.
So the Quran says this. The Quran says.
Yeah.
Let me actually get.
No, don't. You feel. No, you feel as comfortable as you want. I just want to learn. I just would like to learn.
Are you happy now? What is that you think I said?
Okay.
No, what do you think I said? Yeah. I said...
No, fuck the cameras. Who cares about the cameras? No, man, dude, like, get over yourself. You are easily one of the most beautiful fucking men here, right? Who gives a shit? Right? No, who gives a shit? I agree. Okay. So, how do you say? God, okay. How do you say God bless Muhammad? Inshallah.
Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
Alright, so you were born that good, right? Okay. So I want to say to you, you won a lottery. You're intelligent, you're good looking, you're big, right?
Yes.
How do I thank the Lord for that? How do I thank the Lord for that?
I think what you can do, if you want to look like good looking like this is a comb I actually started to market.
No. You can't. No, that's bullshit, man.
Yes.
No, you're a fucking arsehole. No, you're a fucking arsehole, man. Like.
Mohammed Hijab on the shop section.
So I asked.
Like me.
No.
And it comes paid by hate.
Yeah, fuck you. You're a dickhead.
Mohammed Hijab not coding.
Yeah. No. You were born naturally big.
Yes.
Intelligent.
I had to work on it. I had to work on the intelligence. And I had to get the code.
Yeah, you have to get the code.
I had to get the
No.
code.
No, you've worked on it.
Let me just recite to you.
Okay.
Let me recite to you.
Okay. Put your fucking coat away, man. Right, we've already established that you are naturally big, naturally good looking.
Yes.
And you've got attention span. You've got an attention span of 10 seconds.
I like you, man. You're still invited, though.
No. I don't get invited. I am.
You are.
And you are.
I'm the guest. I'm the guest.
Are you going to leave?
Yeah.
No.
Some history.
That's
Yes, I will teach you. Now that you say ask nicely, I will teach you. Abu Bakr started the conquest outside of Saudi Arabia. He started attacking assassins.
Okay. Saudi Arabia was 300 years. Saudi Arabia was established 300 years ago. This country, 1400 years.
Saudi Arabia.
It's not Saudi Arabia.
Call it Saudi Arabia.
Speaking about the history.
Okay, let's call it Saudi.
I am very happy.
Muhammad united Arabia and the Muslim New Group. After he died, the other caliphs started expanding outside of Arabia. Do you understand what I'm telling you? After that point, the Arabs invaded the Sassanids. They beat the Sassanids, they invaded the Romans, they beat the Romans, and they invaded and beat the empire.
Was there before that?
Yes, but it was the Arabs who fought them. It was not Romans against Sassanids. It was the Arabs against Romans and Arabs against Sassanids.
Everybody knows that Roman and Sassanids had a war with each other and Roman won. So it's not my job. You have to prove yourself that Roman
There was no war when the Arabs started fighting between the Romans and Sassanids. Yeah, before it.
Before the Arab came,
yeah, before
they had war.
But the problem is after those wars. That's the problem. That's the problem with what you're saying. The problem is when the Arabs started actually invading those areas. What you're saying is that they predicted those wars. It's not true. The wars between the Romans and the assassins before the conquest. I don't know where. I don't know where. I mean, I do know where you get your history from the Quran, and it's not the Quran. You shouldn't trust me.
What should I trust? Like Christians? Give me the.
For example, you might trust me. You might trust me because what I'm saying is actually true, and it makes sense. The Romans and the Assassins didn't fight each other when they were being conquered by the Arabs, and the Arabs conquered them very quickly. In only a few years, they conquered most of the Assassins by most of the Romans.
That does not mean that Quran was written before those war happened.
After Muhammad. Quran was written after Muhammad.
Which year was it?
Which year was the Quran written?
What are you saying?
There was one Quran. Okay, I like your question. I like your question. And I have the exact answer for you. About the rightness of the
So we have to be careful with names.
What do you say?
Umar advised Abu Bakr to complete the Quran into one book. Abu Bakr told Zayd ibn Thabit to do it, and Zayd ibn Thabit said that it would be easier to shift a mountain than to unite all the different shards of the Quran into one book. But he did it during Abu Bakr. Now, let's go forward. I can't shoot
You don't catch anyone. Abu Bakr is the first Khalifa, Uthman is the last, the third Khalifa. So you have to be careful with years since you are speaking about history.
I'm talking about the rights of those. Osman burned all the different Qurans. Osman did. In Salilal Bukhari.
Many people. Yeah, what does it say?
661, 500.
Yeah, what does it say? Where does it say that?
But you want to do it, recite the fucking Salilal Bukhari.
Not Uthman, my friend. Not Uthman. Omar, I said.
Omar?
Yes.
You said Omar. It wasn't Omar. It was Osman.
I heard that from
You gotta learn your history, bro. You gotta learn your history before you argue.
No mastery.
When Islam spread further out, people say things like so in order to stop that, what he did was
it's a thing that you're trying to
You don't have to be aggressive. Just take it easy. We are just debating.
We're debating with one of us telling the truth and the other one blatantly lying.
Maybe I'm lying. Okay, that's fine. You're telling the truth.
No. It's very sad. You don't speak much in your heart. It's like...
said, you know, he said they would want to.
They're still going, and they're going to do it, and they're not stopping. And now they've been done. The Mueller report, I found there was no clear test, but they're still going to work for if you don't know.
The whole life. Searching for one fight. It's there already. I'm not sure. But if you want to stand here and put your feet on the ground, tell me what I will be like when I'm dead.
I'm telling them from a Christian point of view. I don't say that, you know. I'm not trying to
your journey, I've got mine. Maybe you're right, maybe I'm wrong. And then, if you're right, you have tried. What they've got now, it will be more wrong than I. They talk about, you know what their policies are.
If I'm right, it's going to go to heaven. If I am wrong, I have nothing to do. This is my game.
Hang on, but if you're wrong, I'm not coming to you. I don't know.
How can something exist without existence?
At the moment, they are backing. But 50 years later, no empire will stay there forever. When they are to disappear, even they may back, they will make it a country. But after they collapse,
I said three persons. Yes, but I said God is an unlimited. God is an unlimited shapes of force.
I'm a child of God.
You say something.
What I say, explain me what kind of form does that? What's the natural form? Human form. And what the he was own spirit.
Yeah, of course he was own spirit. Yeah, but he came to the but we'll have everlasting life.
Who was God?
See you.
They know they're going to heaven. They don't know. They don't know.
انا لسه وقع بيناتهم ووقع
Otherwise, they
We build this one. Irish make us slaves. Blacks will not.
Yes or no? I don't know what you look like. Yes or
I saw a program. Human beings. Supposed to be hunters and gatherers. Even their names could be because I don't know what male is. Maybe male is probably other God. love, because they're probably the name of India.
So your body is warm, I think. They didn't use the Bible at all. They used Gnostic texts. So it ended up with all sorts of wrong stories. Ended up with all sorts of wrong stories.
They started to small villages so the Sunnis and whatever it was more sophisticated. Those original
When he was asked, was he fully God or not? When he was asked about the hour, was he fully God or not? It's a yes or no answer. Yes or no? Which is what? No, don't say Jesus. Yes or no? No, was he fully God? When he was asked about the hour, was he fully God or not? Yes. No, yes or no? Leave the glory aside. Leave the glory aside. Leave the glory aside. Leave the glory aside. Yes, say yes or no? Yes or no? You know why you can't say yes or no? You know why you can't say it? Answer me now. Answer me now. Answer me now. He loves you. He still loves you. He loves you. He still loves you. He still loves you. And he loves you. God,
Not knowing the bad way to do it. Always do it. No, it's a hey man, the geeks do it. The geeks watch you from there. No.
They mix with the people, so they become very, very sophisticated people. What they Jesus!
Nobody more than Jesus!
Jesus said, I lay down my life. So he lay down.
Hey, Brian! And if you forget things like that,
No, don't worry, sir. No.
Let me see you good.
Grab him!
Thank you. Thank you. No, you can still carry on talking, but just not on the thing. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye, thank you.
I accept your
Thank
you.
Good to see you after a long time.
Of course. Hey, don't jump.
I'm trying not to.
I'm going to guess really bad. Well, I'm really good. Yes or no? Yes or no? If this is educated.
So that's
So who created Mary? Who created Mary? How are you Do you know what it is? Mary was pregnant.
You don't exist because you're fucking illegal.
Who created Mary? What's your name? Alright. Let me ask you. Mary, what's your virgin? What's your virgin? The likeness of Jesus is the likeness of Adam. She was She was a virgin. When did Jesus create his mother? When did Jesus God create his mother? What question of mine have you answered? Yeah, when did Jesus, I just want to know when Jesus created his mother. So when did, alright, okay, good. God created Jesus or God? They're both, so there's two of them. There's two. So you believe in more than one God? You just said there's two. Right, so can they see each other at the same time? So can Jesus see the Father? 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 Have a lovely evening. Sir, How can a man be God? How can
common sense.
How can a man be born from a woman and a woman to have sex? Every animal on the earth lives. Every bird on the earth lives. Right? Every single animal on the earth lives. Talk about Christianity, a lot of rubbish. Christianity is to wash the brains and turn into slaves.
The sun was up.
There was an apartment issue.
And they stole Parliament. The West Indian people like having a stolen fucking goods. Ghana was the center of fucking earth. Still is the center of the earth. All the Europeans wanted to live in the 16th century. Right? When the British sailed to South Africa, they ran away. As they came back to Ghana. Right? South Ghana wouldn't exist. All the Arabs where they are, they're all in North Africa. They're all in North Africa. They call it Middle East. It's not the Middle East.
What's the lyrics? I never heard people saying about
It's happening, but it happened before in history. We have things happening right now in history. For example, looking at genital mutilation. Yeah, and nobody does anything because they say, oh, it's culture.
I know.
They deserve to do it.
Yeah, that's a difficult one.
I don't believe in that. I think people should have a critical conversation with each other. Different people should come together in an argument with each other. Who has the best way of living? Who has the best
I can't agree with you, because you're going to be the arbiter of truth then. Or is it going to be mob rule? Is it going to be the majority?
It doesn't have to be necessarily me.
But it's the premise of your idea. It's that you can get people together and say that, well, this is obviously the best truth.
But I don't think just accepting others just because you need to accept the others is a good way out of the situation.
I agree, and I'm not advocating blind acceptance. What I'm trying to say is the way of going after discussions needs to be done in a way that's not making people have to reject their entire history and culture and people and families.
Of course not.
But
they
then your strategy is wrong.
But they have to mold it. They have to adapt it. They have to change it for the better. People need to adapt to a better future because that's how humans evolve. That's the greatest thing about them, their adaptability, their intellect.
I understand, I agree. But imagine if you have a friend or something. I'll try and make an analogy. Maybe it won't work. But imagine you have a friend and they're drinking too much or something, right? But they really enjoy it. They're going to have a great time. You know, it's really
I actually have a friend.
It's part of their. They say it's part of their character. It's part of their culture, you could say, or whatever. But you know that it's destroying their life.
Yes.
You can see their life falling apart.
Yes.
Now, if you come at them hard, even if it's a good friend of yours, a lot of humans instinctively will repel that. They'll push it away. Even your best mate, if you come at it in a wrong stance.
Okay.
Because you might be coming self-righteously.
So it's about how you approach it, not if you approach it or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so the way you try to shift other people's opinions, that is what really matters. But you should try to shift their opinions if you don't
No, you
agree.
shouldn't shift their opinions. You should try and shift their consciousness.
But their consciousness is their opinion. Kind of. What I mean is, if you want to try and make people open to new ideas, it has to be them doing it. Well, of course, but you need to convince them to do it. You can't. Like, what's happening?
You can convince lots of people to do many things. How do people
Usually by
convert each
force.
other to a religion?
Yeah, it's either because of ignorance, force, or incentive. I don't want either. I don't want
That's
either.
just how it is. Many people are just ignorant.
Well, let's get more on
Okay,
track.
so how would you make a person who's practicing something not functional, how would you make that person change what's better?
First, you can't make them. Second,
how would you influence them
okay,
to change?
that's fine. Try and be as unbiased as possible with no confrontationality, or if that's even a fucking word, right? You know what I mean?
I think
you go as calm as possible. Don't be confrontational. Lay ideas out there in language that is is palatable. It's strategic. Like, this is what I tried to do. I'm not saying I'm an expert at it, but I'm trying to improve at it because I really believe that it helps. I've had people come up to me and say like, "Oh, you said something last week and it made me think about it." I'm like, fucking success. That's success. But that's what I want to do. Only to encourage thinking of new ideas, to question your ideas. I want to question myself all the time. There's been times today when I've gone, oh, of course, that's a good idea. Is that right? And I'm thinking about it to myself. You have to question yourself. And you know this. You have to think that maybe everything I'm saying is completely fucking bullshit.
It's possible.
You've got to always do that. And if you can encourage somebody to try and do that even a little bit, you're making a great success. Great success.
Yes, but it's very hard to do that.
I'm doing
Some people are basing their ideology on humiliating the other person just because they disagree with them. No, I try not to do it, but many people do it here.
I know they do.
They try as hard as possible.
You know how to be immune to that? Don't ever debate. Only discuss.
That's not a viable option.
Of course it is, because me and other people practice it.
Will you just allow those people to pick, there are preachers here, sometimes catch agnostics or atheists who are not very well
and they beat them down
with philosophy, and they beat them down with fallacies.
I agree. You come in there, yeah.
So you should come in there.
No, you should. In that case, of course, I agree. You should confront that because it's not you one-on-one. It's you seeing somebody being intimidated or bullied, and you want to interject. That happened today when you came in. The guy with the sheet, the guy was just battering him. Maybe he came in with false intentions because he was like, yeah, this Quran is evil. It's like, well, that's not a good place to start, is it? But he wasn't able to defend himself. Maybe that's justice, though. Maybe he should have read up. I'm in two minds. But I wanted to defend him too because he was just under assault and he couldn't defend himself.
Yeah.
It's not right. I don't like that. But look, you've been misrepresented in videos. I've watched them.
Well, of course.
And I have too. But I'm not there to debate, and that's very obvious. Like when I come in, I'm just discussing. What happened is like I saw some videos that said atheist destroyed, and it's you. It's like, come on, he's not an atheist. And what do you mean destroyed?
It's pretty fun.
But if you come in, because you do come in with that attitude, maybe you disagree, but it's my perspective is that you do come in with a confrontational attitude, and you try and take people out of the game, and it might not be the best strategy. It depends on your motive.
But look, man, the problem with what you're saying is that you can't be polite, you can't be forgiving, you can't be nice to people who are not polite, forgiving, and nice to you.
Yes, you can. Of course you can. Of course you can.
They will not reciprocate it.
It depends. This is a realm of thought. This is speech and thought. There's no force here. There's no action, like physical action.
Yeah, there's no. I mean, sometimes there is.
Yeah, sometimes there is. But you get my point. Is that there is a realm here where you can try and connect with people's minds.
Yes.
That's a great thing.
Yes, but you can't really connect with some people's minds.
Some you can't.
They are fixed on winning over the viewer and not winning. Actually being right, actually achieving a better truth. That's the problem, and that's the big problem here. And you need to a certain extent practice it, because if you don't win the argument, nobody will listen.
It's wrong. That's wrong. People will listen to something, and stuff goes into the subconscious. If you're making good points, people get cognitive dissonance. Everyone has cognitive dissonance to some degree. People will get that, and eventually stuff might start to click. Even if it's like
some people might slowly do it, but it's much more functional to actually win in an argument against someone to prove your point. You cannot change the world without staining your hands. You cannot defeat evil without committing some evil yourself.
I disagree. But let me give you something here.
You are a nicer man than I am, and that's exactly why you won't be able to beat any evil, to beat any injustice.
You don't know my history, man. I've had some heavy combat, man. So that's not what I mean. I don't mean just fighting.
No, neither do I. I mean it in multiple senses. I mean it emotional, physical, spiritual, and yeah.
I mean committing, I mean
somehow
evil deeds.
No, not evil.
Defeat evil.
No. It doesn't matter. But it's happening here. Right. Anyway,
you can talk here if you want.
Yeah, sure. Oh, okay.
It's cool. It's cool.
So what I'm trying to say is, what was I saying? Fuck. You can connect to people's minds. You can do it in a less confrontational way.
Yeah, people are not completely stupid, but some people, their intelligence is under a thick layer of fog. Behind a thick layer of fog.
That's a good way of looking at it.
And to dissipate the fog, you need to win the argument, so they pay attention to you. You don't need to win. So they pay attention to what you're telling them. So they give a chance to your ideology, so they can see it.
Right, but I understand. But the setup of, for example, some of the Muslim groups here.
Oh, sure.
The setup of it is.
You guys wanna come here? You wanna come here to the camera?
We just.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's still recording the audio.
I mean, yeah, we can.
It doesn't matter. See the visual.
Yeah, whatever.
Right.
Fuck the viewers.
I know. It's much more important to listen to what this guy's going to say. I'm sure it's exactly the same as he said for about 4 years in a row.
Yeah, I think he's bringing the camera.
Aye.
Oh, let's go. Yeah, it's cool.
Let's.
Sorry, bro. Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Shamsi? Yes.
I want to know, I don't know if you did record it.
He's live streaming now, He's live streaming
No,
now.
I don't want to live stream. No. If you want to do live stream, then do live stream. No.
Just go, if you're going to say something that you didn't really want to record it at all.
It's true, innit? You never know. Yeah, that's true.
Right now it's recording it, so.
No, I forgot live stream, because sometimes, maybe you get excited, you say something, and then you think I shouldn't say it. Yeah.
That's rolling when you're ready.
I was born ready, bro.
Man, come rolling. Come do your thing.
Don't love a person to the extent
I want
to
to You talking about Shamsi?
What happened, man?
You talking about Shamsi?
Yeah, what happened to Shamsi?
Now you just wanted to do a clarification video because I don't know if you've been seeing him and Ali Dawa. They've been having problems.
Ali Dawa.
Man to man.
Ali Dawa is a real snake, man.
These guys are all.
I'm not sure what Shamsi is about, honestly. I didn't really hear too many of his speeches.
Usually when I've heard him, he's talking out of it. He's always English, man, in the park.
He sometimes speaks Arabic, but
he does Arabic, but then he does a clarification.
Sometimes
we'll do a clarification in English. You say you want to go over and see what they're talking about?
Quick check.
Without any doubt, Islam, Allah preserved it. And from day one, as they say, from day one, the companions themselves of the Messenger of Allah, with at the end of their life, some of the companions, the first group that appeared and started going against the Sunnah were the Kharijites. The Kharijites, for example, those who follow the ideology of, or in our time, like ISIS and so on. So the companions refuted them. Likewise, there was a sect called Qadariyah. The companions refuted them and exposed them. Why? To make sure there is no confusion. To make sure that everyone understands.
I'm going for a stroll in the park. I'm going to go for a stroll, so you're going to see that one later.
What Jesus told you to see, tell people?
No chorus. A piece in. Hey, piece in and a piece in.
I'm trying to find my grounding something. And
you had a mandate to govern. Britain had a mandate to govern Palestine.
Yes, because
and then in the 30s,
part of the British Empire, like they governed Australia,
Chamberlain
governed Canada.
Chamberlain wrote a white paper, and it oscillated. There was an oscillate, according to Hewlett, you know, and the struggle for Palestine is an interesting book. You can read it, or Mansfield is an interesting introductory book. Well, whatever. I'm giving you.
Okay.
Right. I'm giving you historical resources to do your own reading.
That could be.
There was an oscillation, and you can see with the white papers that was put forward, Chamberlain, Neville Chamberlain,
right,
and so on. How much was going? So then they ultimately referred it to the UN. Now the point is this.
Okay, so that you're saying what you're saying is they ultimately referred Israel to the UN.
They had a vote in the UN.
Okay, so but we agree that the British government governed Israel
before
1948.
Yeah, I've never said it. It was just your articulation in the first instance, just a post, and that's that.
No, sorry, you wrote that out a mistake. A wrong word came out.
That's why I disagreed with you.
Okay, no problem. So we agree on that.
Yeah.
Now, if it went through the UN, and the UN decided.
Jaret means like curly hair, soft. Curly hair.
Jarer means jarer. So the jarer cool. The jalak
you mean like that? No, this is curly hair. This is jalak, man.
That's how they call it.
So I was like, what here? This is
what based on here?
No, visual people. Visual people. Somalis are visual people. Brothers.
Yeah, that's right.
Two brothers. No, don't think about harder hair than the other brother.
Yeah, but they're not gonna call man Jure. He's not gonna call his brother Jure.
No, but I'm not gonna lie.
From the northwestern part of Africa. No, not northwestern. Western, central part of Africa to the eastern part.
No. There is a group that can be identified as Bantu. Yeah. What I'm saying is that in their language, hold on. But in the language, Bantu just means human being. Yeah. It's not a culture. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's not. So there is not a But what it is.
One at a time.
Yeah, no.
As again.
No, but you are right. Whilst brothers like Carly and other brothers are a lot better, you should see a chance Carly
Nice sessions. You see what the King's talking about, the King of Speakers Corner.
No, it doesn't. Very good. A war can be spiritual. Okay. It becomes physical when it's not resolved spiritually. So if there's a conflict between two people, they can discuss, they can sort it out, and almost nothing. Like, look, imagine a husband and wife come down every day. They always argue about the same thing in the kitchen. But one day, the husband's had enough. He comes down. The wife starts it down. He picks up a pan and he flattens her with a pan. That's it. But all the other times, the cycles, it was just argument, and that was nothing more. Yes. But one day, he comes down and says, I'm really having enough. If she does it again today, that's it. Bang, she's got it. Now, if you think of wars, when there's big wars in history, because already people are getting into certain habits, then finally it comes to it, and that's it. They go for war.
An argument's long started by the time the war's happening, the actual
exactly,
physical war.
Exactly. So, spiritually,
The King of Speakers Corner right there. Give man the sack. Nice sessions. Where's Belly at, fam? Belly ain't come down for ages to do a nice sessions. The Ashgram. Well, go on, Ash.
Yes.
How I speak
consent.
Bless
Man, like, how are you?
Good, you know, brother.
Yeah.
I'm good as doing a nice sessions thing, strolling, you get me? Yeah. I know, fam. See what I got.
To listen to them.
He was the sole ruler of Arabia.
But if you are truthful and there's no one to teach, for example, to teach that specific science, and you need someone from outside, then you bring him and you clarify the truth about him. Yes, this man has a misguided aqidah, and he has a misguided methodology. But the reason I'm bringing him because he's good at this. I'm saying for the sake of argument, and we are not in need of anyone. Alhamdulillah, there's many brothers who are who knows how to refute liberalism, secularism, and they are upon the correct aqidah. That's one thing. So wallahi, go back to school.
Again,
What do you call this? What did I do? He calls it beating up. He calls it beating up. Hit? Is that called hit?
Show him that you don't accept if you read the chapter that Hello.
Oh, go on, Eddie. Last stream thing. Just doing a night sessions thing, see what I'm going on. You said you got any messages for the people?
I was supposed to do a you know, Abu Halima called me.
I don't know who that is.
Abu Halima, he's like this Andrew Charger guy. He's like
okay, who's one of the main guys?
Yeah, he's got like a long beard. Like he does, because everyone a cafe. Yeah. I was gonna do a clarification video because I said in the video that I'm gonna go to his address, and basically that was wrong for me to say. Whoever it is, I don't go to anybody's address, yeah, unless like if they don't have no family, yeah, and if they did some violation, that's a different story, yeah. But anyone has a family, stuff like that, I don't like go to their address, you know, just knock on the door. That's not about. I'm not about that life. So I just want to do a clarification because of that, because this guy contacted me. It's proper funny, yeah. He contacted me, so I'm upset about that. But at the moment, at the time, what I was saying is that I was telling Tony Robinson to help me find him, yeah, because I'm going to confront him, because I was going to confront Tony Robinson too.
So once a message from Dua Dahe, she said, continue over everything, please send my salams to brother Ali Dawa if you don't mind.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Is it sister or brother? Sister, yes, may Allah bless you inshallah. Yeah, so that's what happened. So Abu Halima wanted me to do a retraction. This is my retraction, so basically I was wrong for saying his address because his family lives there. Even though I disagree with him fundamentally, I just wanted to do that clarification because I forgot I was going to do it there, but I totally forgot. See, I'm using my own light on myself, as you can see. Yeah, that's it. Other than that, peace out. You know, content, keep it balanced.
We have to do one separately though, just keep like on the main cam.
Yeah, we have to do that maybe next week.
Because
no, but next week we're not here.
Yeah, here next week.
Me and Hijab, we're going to a country. You're gonna find out soon.
Mad thing.
We're gonna find out soon, bro. Watch.
You're going to do in the country. What's it called?
Can't tell you.
Country lines, yeah.
Yes, we're going to. Can't tell you.
Mad thing. You're going to show in the country.
You're gonna find out. You're gonna find out soon.
You're going to show in the country like them youths, yeah.
The what?
Going to shoot in the country like them youths. You go country.
Go shoot the country.
Shot.
Shot.
Yeah.
What do you mean shot?
Sell drugs.
No, man. we shot dawa.
Shot dawa.
Okay. We don't sell it. It's for free.
Yeah. Say that.
That's it.
Alright, cool. I'm gonna walk around still. I know.
Like the hadith of Jibreel. When Prophet Jibreel came to
See what's going on over here. No, it's a jab still. Cool, brother, I respect you.
Yes.
Yes, man,
If
yes.
you look at the lenses of those people that Western governments hold themselves accountable to.
Yeah.
Right, so if you accept that a changing of government shouldn't be done unless the will of the people, the population is consented, after World War I, after World War II, then in that case it would follow that the will of the Palestinian people was not consented, and therefore that changing of government.
There were also Jews living in Israel. So why would the Palestinians have?
They were referred to as Palestinians.
Oh yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah, so
Led to the Palestinian Jews did what the
I'm
church
not talking about Arabs. Well, they were a minority, weren't they? If you look at the numbers, if you look at the numbers, once again, this is the Palestine. If you look in the 20s and 30s, there was a flooding in of Jewish population. Only in the 30s. Obviously, in the 40s, there was after the Holocaust gone, there was even more of a flood. But in the very beginning, before all of this happened, you wouldn't be able to say that Jews represented more than 10% of the total population.
But what you're saying now is that England was as democratic back then in 1950s as it was now.
No, I'm saying that it held itself to those principles.
I don't know if it
No, it did. They had elections. They had universal suffrage. In fact, that very year, 1918 was the year, they decided that women will get the vote as well. That was 1 year after the Balfour Declaration. So what we're talking about is a country which was counting itself on its democratic principles, that were giving another country to peoples who did not belong in that country without the consent of the population of that country. And that was against their principles, against their mandate.
supposed to be some kind of justification occasionally for the Old Testament.
Right, Paul.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Here comes the man with his ferret.
Live stream.
What I'm saying is you can be justified in killing in war and so on, which is the thing that they
in Islam, in the traditional historic Sharia, there is very clear guidelines about war. One of them is that you cannot, must not, do not kill non-combatants. And listen, there's lots of early hadiths to make it very clear. It actually says do not kill women, children, old people, monks, it says, priests and so on. Very clear. In Islam, you're not allowed to do that. ISIS, however, and I've read this in their literature, have called on people, Muslims, to actually slaughter anyone on the streets of London, indiscriminately, including Muslims. Anyone. And on the London Bridge attacks and the attacks on Manchester, these are indiscriminate attacks. I can't think of a single action that is more opposite of what a religion teaches.
Also Bin Laden as well, when this hadith was quoted to him as well, he had...
The fascinating story is actually in the Quran. There was one of the last interviews, authentic interviews that Bin Laden did with a Spanish journalist actually that he had got to know, and the Spanish journalist said to Bin Laden, and this is in the academic literature that I've read, he says in Islam, it says in the Quran here you're not to take life like this, and was it hadith? It was a hadith. So it was a hadith. Hadith, which means a prophet of a saying of Muhammad. It's supposed to be authoritative. And Bin Laden said, look, these things are not set in stone. That was the word. He's not set in stone. In other words, he was trying to say, look, okay, that was then, but this is now. Now, no Muslim, I mean, it sounds like a very liberal, modernist thing to say, because liberal Muslims might say, oh, well, the Quran might prohibit fornication, but hey, this is Britain in 2018.
Which is what I worry about. This is why I worry that it might just be,
You see, he was your definition of the most fanatical follower of Islam.
Yeah.
But actually, he sat very light to the teachings of Islam when it came to killing innocent people. He wasn't being. He needs to follow Islam. He wasn't following Islam. He was following his own. His ideology was a kind of a mixture of Islam with revolutionary Marxist and secular ideologies, which came from people like Sayyid Qutb and the Muslim Brotherhood and so on, where Marxism and secular revolutionary ideas have become fused together, and so people felt that they could rebel against the rulers.
So as always, it's all Marxism.
No, well, Marx was an atheist, so he didn't think he was going to be co-opted by Muslim extremists in the 21st century. But Marx has his own problems to answer for. So I think, contrary to the Western perception, fanatics don't always follow the
There were more Jews living there than are in all the Arab world. So you have to ask yourself the question, if Muslims don't persecute Jews or didn't persecute Jews, and Islam fundamentally treats Jews well, why did the Jews flee?
Very good question. $1 million question. My response will be $2 million response.
And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put the Quran al-Furqan. He said, differentiate between the falsehood and the truth, between righteousness and the wickedness. That's like the Quran. Likewise, as again, who determines who is great and good is for the Muslim scholars, not for you and I comment what is good, what is bad. So again, please, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, everyone is speaking scholar. Leave your opinion aside. Because your opinion is nothing when it comes to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Quran and Sunnah, the book of the Salaf, and the scholars what they said. As for this Ikhwani principle, as I mentioned, deviated sect, then scholars, all of them, Bin Baz, Ibn Uthaymeen, Al-Albani, Muqbil, Sheikh, even Wasal Abbas, ask him, he won't against it. So don't play, hide behind. What I can see, I'm straightforward. I see people here, they're calling them to themselves. They here and there they pretend scholars, but in reality they're calling to themselves. And we have to be careful. Alhamdulillah, from Allah's mercy upon me, always I tell my brothers, I'm not the person you go back to. I can share some knowledge that I have, but always refer to brothers. If you are in the UK, and there's still knowledge of prayer by scholars.
are you sure that I'm doing Takia? I'm being a good Muslim.
So now, but sourcing. I know these guys on judges. Yeah,
I'm saying that.
If you're the only person, you don't need no law. You don't need no book. Thank you.
Yes. Doing a live stream.
No, I need recording. No.
You want to record it?
Live stream now.
As soon as Shamsi's finished, you can do
What
something.
is he saying about Shams?
Huh?
What is he talking about?
I think he's talking about the Human Ali Dawa last week.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people questioning why he does it public and some of the things he said, getting clarification for. I think that's what he's doing. And when I was recording last week, when I was changing from this to...
Did you record Ali Dawa today?
Yeah. He asked me. I don't request these things.
No, because Shams is dangerous.
Ah, that's what you said, man. Right now, I'm live streaming right now.
I can do it here on it. Do you remember I was chasing him many times? He moved away. He doesn't want to stand and talk.
Okay.
So because and he instructed his followers. When I came first in this bar, Shams followers will come to me and say, don't speak. You're not good Muslim, stuff like this. Until I could bash it. I gotta speak, you cannot. Where do you think you are? Yeah, it's mad thing. If you do not follow him, take him as your boss. That's it, hellfire. So it's wrong. Even come up blind.
Is that what you're going to talk about after? I remember I see you put a video.
But anyways, he cooperated with Kalam.
I see you put a video of the clip of when you talk about Kalam was tired.
Yeah, he cannot say, oh, it's excuse that someone was tired, he mocked the Prophet. Who says this? This is not an excuse.
When the camera's there, when
even how he knows a man, what's happening to him? I know you was tired. Through the WhatsApp message, I can see your tired. How you know the person who's texting, mocking the Prophet was tired? How it can be rationalized?
The 21st century tells me he read a book in his eye.
But anyways, I think
when a man opened a book
last week,
and he read it, and
his name, Respect, slipped from my hand.
You slipped from your hand?
Yeah.
Well, how come you left the conversation?
I will record the video if it is recorded. Because Respect is good boy, but he have some issues. He need to correct them. He cannot say, I am against Islamophobia, but I support Kalam because he carry our cause. Kalam is always teaching black people Islam is against you. Kalam, most of his production is not about black betterment. It's about attacking Islam. Go to his channel and see it. So, for you as a man standing for justice, how you can say I support Kalam? It's hypocrisy. It's hypocrisy.
Is that what you discussed with him? You know, I didn't even watch
it. He wouldn't allow it. He got hyped and He said
he got hyped.
Started to
Big up Respect. What are you saying?
I'm heading.
Cutting now, yeah?
Yeah, okay.
Cool. Respect to bro. Cool.
I don't know why he's doing it, but maybe he's too worried to say, oh, no. And anyways, in Islam, I am for my brother, but if he's wrong, I'll never be for him. But if your black brother is okay, he's oppressed, yes, by all means, and I am with you, but they wouldn't allow me even because I don't have the melanin. But anyways, but if your brother is wrong towards other people, he promotes Islamophobia, you cannot say, oh, I support him. You cannot claim you are against Islamophobia if you support someone like Kalam. It can't. Bad thing, yes.
Bad thing. When we finish, but you can do what you want, man. When Shamsi's finished.
I want him to have a conversation because I don't know. I see good things in him, but sometimes he do weird things.
Respect.
Yeah. You know. So maybe he's young, his age, I don't know.
He's young still. Compared to me and
Are you answering the question why you need to be shot?
what I'm darling, I'm going to walk around a little bit now.
His life
and we have to go back home and change something. So my idea right now, or everybody's idea that I want to share today, is that we should come with a common idea that, I don't know, we plan, exactly a plan, that first of all, let's start with our community. The Somali community in the UK.
You said what we done? Yo, yeah, we say you done yet? Yeah.
Leon, yes, stuff, that's it, finished.
I respect that.
Alright.
Leon, how much did you set up? Don't say it for anyone.
Come on, man.
He's a rich man, man.
Hey, rich.
Yeah, you're a rich man.
I accumulated this over many years.
Yeah, 2 years. Sure. I remember that, yeah. I remember that, you're right.
Probably totals around 2.5 grand right now. 2.5 grand. Bit by bit, innit?
Yeah.
What's your YouTube channel for? Crazy, content over everything.
So he did a sit down over everything.
What's your stuff?
Inshallah.
What's your stuff? MashaAllah, quality Abdullah. Maybe I'm
It's a wrap. Sure, cool. Pavlov and them, Ahmedali. Where's Pavlov and them?
This brother is saying it's 100% true.
Just like you have Muslims who have disagreements, you have Jews that have disagreements. That's fine. That's a beautiful of a people. You don't all agree.
So I'm not
But we don't do it. We don't do
men that were coming to the Syrian refugee camps to marry the girls. They'll sleep with them and just leave them there, divorce them immediately. So that they.
I'm not sure, man.
Yes, Leon. Cool.
Pablo may be around here somewhere. I don't know.
Like you, Isaac, speaking up against the government of Israel, saying that
But you've got the Palestinians thinking that there should be no Jews driving. How many Muslims?
When you read the Quran, you admire Muhammad.
They got to stand up over there.
No. They must he's a Christian also. He's a Christian.
Healing prayers.
Huh?
Healing prayers.
Healing prayers?
Yes.
That's why you're standing here in the dark. What do you heal?
For in every aspect.
Every aspect. Was it because money?
Pardon?
Is it free?
God have given to us work. When we work, we receive money or with agreement.
When we work, do we receive money or what?
with agreement.
Or we receive agreement.
Agreement with both party.
Okay. So which one are you doing?
Whatever that you are offering, like then Holy Spirit of God guiding you, you can do so.
What's your religion, miss?
I believe creator of heaven and earth.
Creator of heaven and earth?
Yes.
You have no religion?
Religion is believe in God.
Yeah.
Am I right?
I don't know, I'm not sure. I thought it was like a way of life and certain rules.
Religion
specific.
is a faith, a belief in God.
A faith.
Is the religion possibly earlier was say that no religion or whatever is, for example, like Jesus is a Jew. Scripture said in scriptures Jesus is a Jew, but then scripture says they say Jew but they are lie. So it's like I am faithful, but example like I am Christian but they do not have faith. In that case that they say I am Jew, but in fact they are not Jew because they do not believe. Probably that is why it comes of the religion, but religion is believe in God, faith.
Okay. So do you observe any special practices as part of your religion? Is there anything in particular you have to do?
Praying for healing and teaching praying for healing and teaching means I have to be existed to do so. Therefore, in prayers that I am listening of what Holy Spirit of God guiding us to, in the case that whichever the way, for scripture says, if it's not sure, see the fruits with debating the psalm, that whomever comes to speak to me, then I will have to understand why that the God have created us all, God's creations comes to me when I am also concentrate on prayers in different way as well as this way, so that what is that distractions to order to not know. That is why I have to be for prayers, for practicing. Example like now what Holy Spirit of God shown to us of wisdom, and wisdom have took it away. In the case that I will have to defend on situation like this, therefore that you have come to example distract me, and if you think that you are very important as you may be in media's world, but then if media comes to me of whatever the reasons for mysteries to distract me, then I will have to defend on to not be distracted of, for took it away of whatever wisdom God have given to me. You may able to say either way that God have took it away, but then I have said as mysteries is there. Therefore,
how do you know God, miss?
Mysteries.
How do you know God? How do you know God?
God is in you just now. Holy Spirit of God guided us to understand. God is in you. God is in me. God is exercising for mysteries away.
God is everything.
Yes, God is in everything and everywhere.
And how do you
Therefore,
know,
indeed, as you have said, what you have got it of mine, you will have to give it to me. Oh.
Who said that?
You have said God is in our hearts.
Yeah.
Yes.
How do you know what God wills of you?
Pardon?
How do you know what God wills of you? How do you know what God wants you to do?
How do I know that God wants I to be your will? Because God is in our hearts, and the Holy Spirit of God guiding us to understand. And also, example like we are amounts of part that we are to be we are faithful to God, and amounts that we are faithful to world powers. Therefore, what I say or what I am nun. I am celibate nun for 20 years.
You?
Yes. Therefore, whether I am good or not, I am serving God with my whole being. Therefore, my faithfulness to God is my being, my whole being. But whomever serving God with the percentages like a half and half, 50-50, then 50% they may act of faithfulness, and 50% they may serve world powers. In the case that, if example, who serves world powers means a faithfulness in this way, then from there I will have to defend I will have to protect myself. And also that if you did come to question me, or example like, but you are going to open escort agencies, or you can say you have worked as escort agencies, and if it was against me of that serving God through escort agencies, that is sinfulness. But I was investigated from 1997 to 1999 in magistrate court case, magistrate court and crown court. All our grace of God, I am not guilty.
For what? Investigating you for?
Pardon?
What was the reasons they was investigating you?
For immoral earning from running escort agencies.
Escort agency?
Yes.